Welcome and congratulations to UC Berkeley, particularly to the CS department, the X department, electrical engineering and computer science department, and to the CS major. My name is Floriberto Javier. I go by Javier. I am one of the CS major advisors in the department, and with me, I have other colleagues too from the department and also the college. You may or may not be able to see their faces, but colleagues, would it be okay for you to briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. This is Carol. I'm Carol. I'm one of the CS undergraduate advisors, and Chris, one of our illustrious CDSS advisors, has joined us.
So I'm Chris. I'm a CDS college advisor, and I'm working with some of the CS students in GBA. So you may see my name on emails and messages in the B course.
And with us, we also have our director, Michelle Fong.
So thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having me here. Very nice meeting you all. My name is Michelle Fong, and I am the undergraduate Students Affairs Director. I'm also new. I just start my position in mid-April, but it's so amazing to join such an amazing team. So we are learning together. So welcome. Very happy to have you here today.
We also have another colleague, Lydia Raya. She is gonna be joining us in a couple of minutes. Lydia is also a another CS advisor, and Lydia is the assistant director of the department. So uh, we are the electrical engineering and computer science department, and this presentation is the Golden Bear advising for computer science first year students. Today, we are glad that you are with us, and with you, we're gonna go over, who the advisors are, the CS advisors. We're gonna go over the difference between major advising, college advising. We're gonna discuss some resources. We're gonna share this. We're gonna go over major requirements, classes that we suggest, recommend, that you plan for your first semester, first year, uh, grading policy, and at the end, we will allocate some time for Q&A. So please wait until the end to ask those questions. So a lot of those questions that you may have right now, those most of them will be answered throughout this presentation. Having said that, let me pass it on to my colleague, Carol.
Yeah, so again, congratulations. This is only the second year that the students admitted were declared directly into the major. So congratulations. Everything went great last year. This is sort of a leftover slide from last year because we thought, oh, it was the first time, it could bring a lot of challenges, but everything went really smooth. But as with all things, all great things, there are both wonderful opportunities and challenges. So we hope these slides will kind of help you get started on the right foot. These are our two main buildings. The Soda Hall is the green one on the left. That houses the CS department and the CS advisors. Corey is across the street. There's also, they do CS advising over there too. We have 6 total advisors. You'll meet in a couple of minutes on slide. And this is our main email. It goes to all of us. We have the best response times with that email as opposed to like writing to everybody, individually. We have ways to keep track, and we're really good about email. It doesn't just go into a black hole. The new Gateway building will open in 2026, so you'll hear a lot more about that. And this is where to find a lot of the information that we're talking about today will be on our website. So we just want to throw out the URL, and you can often find answers to your questions there.
And just as Carol mentioned, there are 6+ advisors in that can support you in the CS major. So we have Michelle. Michelle is the director of undergraduate advising. Carol, myself. We have Charlene. She is not here today, but Charlene is the director of the CS Scholars program. Lydia, I introduced her. We have Kate, Gina, Grayson. So myself, Carol, Charlene, and Lydia are are located in Soda, room 349. Michelle is in room 377 in Soda Hall. Grayson, Gina, and Kate are located in room 205 in Corey Hall. And the email that we have added to this slide too is the standard email, just what Carol shared earlier. You can send us an email if you have any questions. We will reply to these emails. We also have the X101 at STEM. Here you can, if you're not part of this yet, you can go ahead after we send this presentation, so you have access to this link, and then you request to be added to this. Here you're gonna be able to see the students who have posted questions. We have we post a lot of information about the major, about potential events that are coming up, and so on. So, okay, so what's next, right? So, okay, I know who the advisors are, but how do I engage with them? Well, as I mentioned earlier, there is a college advising and also major advising. So as CS, you were admitted in CS and the college is CDSS. CDSS has college advisors, right? We refer to them as college advisors. And for CDSS college advising, some of the questions that you can get answered when you talk to them are gonna be questions, related to breadth requirements. What's the total of units I can take in a single semester? If I want to take less units, am I eligible to do that? What's the procedure? If I want to, take a semester off at some point because, I just want a break from academics, is that possible? So these are some of the questions they can answer for you. They are located in 130 Warren Hall, and they have remote options as well as in person. So for CS, we are known as, you're gonna hear a lot, the UMA, they refer to undergraduate major advisor. So we are the UMAs in CS. So to us, you come with anything related to the major. For example, can I take, a class for pass no pass? Or do I need to take everything for a letter grade? These are the questions that you can bring to us. And of course, if you have other questions that are not related to CS, and if we don't know the answer, we're gonna do our best and we're gonna provide resources and refer you to the appropriate department so your questions and concerns get answered or they get taken care of. Once again, we are located in 205 Corey Hall and 349 Soda Hall. We have remote options and appointments as well, which I'm gonna be discussing in a minute. Okay, so how do you meet with us? This summer, we are available for virtual drop-in on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. We have some limited appointments this summer. These are remote as well. And on our website, the link is listed here. You're gonna have access to this presentation later. You can copy and paste it or just do a Google search to find us on the website. Keep in mind that on July 3rd and 4th, no appointments are going to be held, no drop-in advising, beginning the fall semester. Our schedules and the modality that we offer advising may change, meaning that if today, during the summer, we offering a drop-in advising, a virtual drop-in advising Tuesday, Wednesday, so that may change for the upcoming semester. So that's why we always tell students to check our website with the most updated information on advising for that semester. Once again, if you have questions, reach out to our standard email, cs-advising@cs.berkeley.edu anytime during normal business hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 4 p.m.
Now we are talking about how to engage with CDSS. So this is a college advising. So they will be having drop-in advice available after June 24th, once you finish CDSS GBA. And yeah, be sure to go through all the modules. Knowledge is power. So that'll really help you kickstart to your new, your new school year. Appointments will be able starting in fall, and this is their website. Once again, we'll send you these links, but you probably already know from all your GBA events. And this is their EdSTEM page. We do offer faculty advising. Just wanted to kind of toss it out there. This will start up in October. It's underutilized. It's a great way to find out about research or graduate school. It's the signups will start in September, I believe. And yeah, it's a great something you should definitely would want to take advantage of.
Okay, so additional ways that you can receive support. We have peer advising. Peer advising is essentially students who are pursuing or in the department, they are undergraduate students, but they have experience, taking classes. Peer advisors can be students who are in the second, third year, or last year. They have a lot of knowledge since, they go in the classroom, they sign up for these classes, they go through all the assignments, so they have a lot of insights. So in the fall, we're gonna have peer advisors providing this service, and feel free to utilize them as much as you want and can. So this they offer in-person and virtual peer advising. So their schedule is gonna be listed on our website too, where you find the CS advising. At the bottom, you're gonna find that information. Additional services that we have on campus is a free tutoring. If you have or you need, like a questions, or you need help with math, for example, or some CS classes. So some of the student groups that we listed here are CS Mentors and HKN. But these are just two. We have a lot more. So, but for more information, you can check, the website after, do a Google search, or after we send this, you just copy and paste the links. An additional resource that we have, and as I briefly mentioned, we have CS Scholars program. So if you're interested in applying to this program, if you're curious as to what can I do or how does this program can help me, for these specific questions, for additional information, you can reach out to our colleague, Charlene. So her email is listed at the bottom, cs-scholars-coordinator@ex.berkeley.edu. The deadline to apply to this program is Thursday, July 3rd at 12 p.m. As a fall 2025 first year admin students, you were admitted to the CS major directly. So there's no need to submit a CS application to declare the major because you are already declared in the major. Throughout the semester, you may see emails here and there going around with information or asking you to please submit an application to declare the CS major. Please disregard these emails, these messages, because these won't apply to you. These apply to students who were admitted prior to UC Berkeley and to the major. Another thing that is very important is that you maintain a good academic standing, meaning that you do well in your classes each semester, in classes for the major and also for the college, major requirements, college requirements. And to maintain this good standing, you must, or you need at least a 2.0 GPA in order to be in compliance with college major campus policies. Okay, so let me pass it on to my colleague right now.
Thank you. So this is a really brief overview of the class requirements for CS. For the lower division, we require Math 51 and 52, which were formerly Math 1A and 1B. Math 54 or 56 or 16A. And then our famous 61 series is 61A, B, C, and CS 70. For the upper division, there's 24 total units that you're required. One is a design class. There's a lot of options for that. And then you have 16 units of additional upper division, 8 of which could actually be EE. So if anybody's interested in tailing a major more with EE emphasis, you can talk to advising about that. And then we require one non-CS tech elective, which we have that approved list. It gives you an opportunity to take a class that's, outside the major that might be interesting to you. So yeah, so that's a general overview. So this is just another view of your lower division classes and kind of what they touch on. 61A is teaching you how to think like a computer scientist, and is the first step toward artificial intelligence. And further on, 61B is databases, 61C is more base level of how the computer works. 70 is mathematical, like how to write algorithms. Then you have calculus, of course, and then linear algebra, which as we noted, you could have 54, 56, or 16A qualify. And this is I think you've heard about this a lot already in GBA with CDSS, but this is like a classic first semester. If any lower division math you have left to complete, your CS course, whether it be CS10 if you don't have a lot of programming, or 61A if you are ready to dive into that, and then a CDSS requirement if you haven't fulfilled like your writing requirement. That's a great time to do it. And you are only required to do 12 units, which we recommend, but sometimes students do want to pick up an additional. There's freshman seminars that are really cool, or decals that are student taught courses that are really cool. So yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to taking some of the classes for the major and other classes in general, right? So some of these classes, they have prerequisites, meaning that you need to satisfy one class before you are eligible to sign up for a class. For the major, for example, we have classes that you need to satisfy some prerequisites before you are eligible to take like 61B or 70 or the upper division classes. So there's a reason for this, and we want you to be aware that this is important. There's a reason for having those prerequisites before you are eligible to sign up for the other class. So these prerequisites represent, or they are the foundation for you to acquire the skills that you need to successfully complete the other class or classes. So please take this seriously. Another thing to note here is even if you are eligible, or the system, when you enroll in classes, allows you to enroll in upper division classes, for example, which is something we don't recommend in your first semester. If the system allows you to enroll in these upper division classes or lower division classes, but if you haven't met the prerequisite classes, then it's not gonna be okay to put it that way. Reason being is because the system allows you, but if the professor is enforcing, which is likely that's gonna happen, enforcing those prerequisites, when they check that you haven't met these prerequisites, then the professor is gonna drop you from this class, and this can happen just anytime. So that's why it's important to, when you plan in your schedule, to identify any prerequisites that you may need to satisfy before you signed up for that class or classes. So just just be mindful of that. Okay, let's see. So if you have information about, like policy around enrollment, we have a document that has all this information. You can explore and learn and get familiar with this information after we send this presentation to you, or you can just do a Google search. Be very strategic about what classes you take in your first semester, first year, because it can get overwhelming sometimes. Workload can be heavy if you're not strategic about planning, and we want you to succeed here at Berkeley. We want you to succeed in the major, and we don't want you to be overwhelmed in your first semester if you overload yourself with many classes, or classes that have a lot of work. So be mindful of that. Carol mentioned that for the major, you need to take a CS class, a non-CS tech elective class. This class tend to be less rigorous compared to other classes. We have a list of pre-approved. We have a page that includes this listing, pre-approved classes that you can take. When you have time, explore this option too. This class, or everything for the major, needs to be completed for a letter grade. Earlier, I was talking about peer advising and the benefit of this. So if you have questions about your workload, you can, like talk with them. The thing now is that they're not working, but they're gonna start working the first, second, third week of once the fall semester begins. So something you may or may not be familiar with is, or you may hear like, oh, I'm waitlisted for a class. So this is a thing that happens here at Berkeley. So when you sign up for a class, if all seats are already taken, then you may be able to add yourself to the waitlist. Meaning that if you're gonna be waitlisted for the class, if someone drops from the class that is officially enrolled in the class, depending on your waitlisted position, you may be able to get off the waitlist and enroll in this class. However, there's there are so many elements that go into like the students dropping the class and students who are waitlisted for this class to be able to enroll in the class. Some of these elements may be or consist of, if the professor is very popular teaching this class, then likely students are not gonna drop it. If that's the case, then we recommend to have a backup schedule, a backup class, so that you're not you end up, with different classes, different schedule, and you're in compliance with the number of units that you can enroll per semester. Okay, so let's pass it on to Carol.
Yeah, so we're gonna run through some really basic schedules here. So this one would assume perhaps you are coming in with not a lot of programming experience. You have plenty of time to set some foundation by taking a course like CS10. Actually, faculty does prefer CS10 for that over data aid. And then perhaps you also still need, Math 1A, now they call it Math 51. And then you could also take a CDSS requirement. Same thing. So the second semester, then you would be ready to dive into 61A, take Math 1B with Math 52, and then perhaps your non-CS technical elective. Berkeley Math does tend to be pretty rigorous, so you want to keep that in mind. So this is another sample where you also need the math, but you're starting out with 61A and taking Math 1A, which you can take those two concurrently, or Math 51. I also wanted to throw out there on the other slide, I think it was at the bottom, but you could view it when we send it to you. We do follow the math department's lead on transfer work for math courses. So there is a link to where you would be sending any, like assist.org we honor, but anything that was from another institution, we do trust the math. We follow the math department's lead, and there's a process that link will show you what to do. Okay, so this is perhaps you coming in with Math 1A, maybe you AP'd it. You're going to dive into Math 1B and 61A, and then with 61A, and then your second semester you could do 61B and 54 or 56, and then your non-CS tech elective. That's like an option. And then this is one where if you, let's say you took 61A over the summer, or for whatever, you're transferring in with the equivalent, you would do like Math 1B and perhaps linear algebra 54, 56. And then your CDSS requirement, and then dive into 70. In an ideal world, the faculty have indicated it's best to do 61A, B, and 70 in separate semesters. Interestingly, at Berkeley, sometimes our lower division can be more rigorous than the upper division. But every something you'll talk to advising about, but just so you know.
All right. So when it comes to grading and repeating some classes, for the major, for the CS major and minor, all classes need to be taken for a letter grade. So if for any reason you have to, or one class doesn't go as planned, there's if you want to repeat the class, it is possible, but for that you must like a check-in to be more familiar with this, check in with us, and when it comes to other classes as well. So college requirements, for example, for these specific questions, we recommend that you check in with the college advisors. For the major, minor, come to us. You can, if you took a class and receive you didn't pass the class, for example, then you are eligible to pass that. And then upon successfully completing that class, which is going to be the second attempt, then that second attempt, whatever GPA, assuming is a higher grade than the first attempt, then that GPA is going to be factored into your GPA at that point. And but for more information on this, check in with us. We are going to be happy to assist you with this. So you are not eligible, or students are not allowed to repeat classes that you successfully pass with a P as passing grade, or C minus or better. So when are you going to be able to enroll in classes? So you are going to be eligible to enroll on July 17th. Check how central under enrollment, you're gonna see phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is where there's gonna be information. Phase 2, both are gonna have information as to the times that you're gonna be eligible to enroll in the classes that you already planned. So if you have questions about like you coming into any issues, like if you're waitlisted, for example, in some lower division CS classes with open seats, you can contact. We have a team that manages the enrollment side here. So you can reach out to them at cs-enrollments x.berkeley.edu with questions related to CS. And if you are waitlisted in a class with open seats, there is an EE class, you reach out to them to ee-scheduling@berkeley.edu. Now, we got to the point of questions. This is the time where you can answer these questions. Just remember that you can reach out to OCS advisors at cs-advising.cs.berkeley.edu. Ask those questions. You can come to virtual advising this summer. Find information on our website, how to log in, how to meet with us virtually. Tuesday, Wednesday, 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. No drop-ins or appointments on July 3rd and 4th. Having said that, what questions you have for us?
Well, somebody just asked to find about finding the recording. Last year, I think we just mailed the link out. So once we know it's published, we'll let you know. We hope in the next few days. And we will send the slides, like I said, pretty soon.
Right. So the recording we can send it as soon as sometime next week. What I can do is I can send it via email. I can also the presentation, I can send the presentation via email, and I can post it in the big course as well, so you have access to this. As far as the recording goes, this we can send it sometime next week too. Next week, and this, as I previously mentioned, it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. Likely it's gonna be on Wednesday or so next week. Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you, Javier and Carol. And thank you, Lydia, for helping answering all the chat questions. So I have a couple questions students wrote down in here. So maybe I just read them to you, Javier and Carol. Sounds
Great.
okay.
Yes.
Is it recommended to take Math 51 even if AP credits satisfy the requirement?
I've never heard that particularly like recommended. Like I said, our math is very challenging. So if you AP'd out, I think it's not really the best use of your time. But you could talk to faculty or course staff, but that's what I would say.
Thank you. Another question, does registering the course earlier give you a better chance of getting in? What determines if you get the course versus being put on the wait list?
So that depends on when you're gonna be eligible to enroll in the classes. I mentioned phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 refers to the date and time you're gonna have a window to enroll in classes. But keep in mind that we have like many classes available at the same time that we have a lot of students. And if for any reason you're not eligible to enroll in the class when you are during the time that you are allowed to, then what you can try to do is try to add yourself to the wait list. And if you're not able to get off the wait list, then just have a backup class. So one of the things that you could do is if you are waitlisted in a class, then you could enroll in a different class if possible. However, so there's gonna be my general understanding is that there's like a uh like like an approximate time or like at some point before the semester begins that you're gonna be able to do that. I believe it's gonna be during phase one. They're gonna be able to add more units. During phase one, I my understanding is that you can enroll only in a few units, right there, not many of them.
So just Javier, to make a slight correction, the first time students enroll in classes, it's sort of like phase 1 and 2 combined. So they have 20.5 units and then or maybe 18. But then the adjustment period comes and you have a couple more units. But because everybody else, the continuing students started enrolling back in April. So new students don't enroll till July. So we're kind of catching you up and doing kind of a combination of phase 1 and 2 together.
Sweet, there it goes. Okay, so just you know, if you're waitlisted, you're not able to enroll in a class and you're waitlisted, then you should be eligible to enroll in additional units right there. Once again, it's always a good idea to have a backup plan in the event that you're not able to enroll in your first choice classes right there.
Yep,
Thank you,
totally
Lydia.
agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you, Lydia and Javier. Next question. Does the class start time refer to the lecture or the discussion?
Oh, I believe the class times specifically would say for the lecture. I think the discussions they're listed separately. The way Berkeley works is you're going to go to a lecture and then you're going to have discussion and lab times, and they're all three different unique situations. So your discussion sections are going to be much smaller than you know, the lecture. So I think if you read like the time on classes.berkeley, that time will be the lecture time, and then the discussion sections, a lot of them you're getting what they call 999, so they'll be determined, the timing will be determined when school starts.
So is it recommended to have discussion before lecture, or is it vice versa, or it doesn't matter?
Well, I think that the way they set up the class, that you'll have the lecture and then the discussion will follow. They'll know that you have or haven't. Yeah, we never hear there's any. It sounds kind of daunting, the 999 sections, because they'll disperse them later. We never hear anybody complain about it, which is, you know, says a lot because we hear all the complaints. So I'm sure it's going to work out that your discussion will be after whatever the class, you know, will be after. And also they don't sometimes start the discussions the first week of school. Just so you know, you're going to go to class and then you'll start discussion the second week of school.
Great. Thank you, Carol. Do you have any sample schedule that include breadth requirement, college requirement, and CS major requirement?
Well, we in the samples that we had in this presentation, we did list a CDSS that meant a breadth requirement. And we'll send out these links, but yeah, the general first semester, you'll do like a CS requirement, some kind of lower division math, and then a CDSS breadth requirement. That's like a really common first schedule.
Are seats in CS60, 1A, B, C, 70, etc. prioritized for computer science majors? In other words, the likelihood a CS major is waitlisted within one of those courses is low, correct?
You mean that, will they be able, we've never heard people couldn't get into the lower division. We get a lot of anxious people. Are you talking about if you're initially waitlisted, will you eventually be able to get in? Yeah.
I think so. Marla.
Yeah,
if
you should be able to get in the class. However, if that's not the case, then just, you know, plan to take it the following semester.
Sounds good. If I want to do an econ double major, should I start taking econ prereqs I think, sorry, if I want, should I start taking econ pre-reqs within the first semester?
You know, that's a great question. And if you're planning to do a double major, we do recommend getting in touch with the economics major advisor and see what they recommend. But if that's the plan that you have in mind, I suspect that, you know, that's what you should do.
Maybe Lydia already answered, but I saw one student asking if they should take, if it's okay to take CS10 and Data 8 together. To prepare for 61A, the faculty have indicated 10 is the better choice because it teaches you more concepts for 61A. But I know Data 8 is also a prereq, correct, for C100, I believe, Javier? Yeah, and Lydia. So a lot of students end up taking them both. If you're interested in, you know, learning any of the data science stuff or taking CS10 or data C100, you might want to end up taking data 8 too. It's just that for prepping for 61A, CS10 is the better. Yeah.
Do you recommend 54 or 56?
Well, we haven't, you know, it's interesting. They just approved 56 recently, which doesn't include the differential equations aspect. And I don't know if my colleagues, I have not heard a student tell me which one, you know, I haven't heard talk of which one is preferred. I would think 56 would probably be a little less rigorous, but, you know, once again, I haven't heard anybody's feedback.
Yeah, I haven't heard any feedback either. So I would say, you know, like explore these options and see what you decide to do.
Okay.
I think
Great.
that the only thing I would add is 56 is specifically linear algebra and does not include differential equations. And Math 54 is going to be both linear algebra and differential equations. So if you're a student who's really interested in math and possibly taking upper division math, you know, we have a non-CS technical elective requirement when you get to the upper division, and some students will take a math class to fulfill that. So you might take a look at the math classes and what prerequisites they have, because if they have Math 54, it might make more sense for you to take that so that it's kind of more broadly fulfilling other requirements.
Great, thank you. It's 11:21 right now, and I saw that we have a couple more questions. So I will continue to read the question, but I just want to remind everybody that you can also reach us at the email address on the slide, and also you can come to the virtual drop-in this summer. Are there any resource community for CS major also interest in pre-med?
You know, that's a great question. And I recently met with a student first year. I don't know if it's the same student. And in the CS department, I don't know if we have any resources in regards to pre-med. However, on campus we have the career center, the career department. So they have on their website, you know, like they provide advising to students who are interested in pursuing pre-med, pre-health, pre-law, and all these areas. So you may want to check the website and be familiar with their services and how they can support you. In addition to this, and you may want to contact CDSS too. I'm not sure if they offer any resources regarding these areas, pre-med.
Yeah, great. Chris just shared a link in the chat, so thank you.
Awesome. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you, Javier. Can I declare the EIS minor in the College of Engineering?
I can take that. So the EIS minor was a new minor, I'm going to get the name wrong, electronic intelligence systems, something along the lines of that. And it was created a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, there was really not a lot of popularity amongst students for this minor. We only had like a couple students per year actually try to pursue the minor. So this minor is being sunsetted, which means that beginning fall 25, if you were admitted fall 25, you are not able to apply to this minor any longer. But depending on your interests, you know, as a CS student, you have access to electrical engineering, upper division and lower division classes. So we can definitely work with you to see how your interests could still fit with the computer science major. And you can take actually a lot of upper division units in electrical engineering and have it count for your major. So it wouldn't just be taking extra classes because you're interested, you can still have it apply to your major.
If I score a 3 or higher in APCS principles as well as took an intro CS course, which taught Python in junior year of high school, am I sufficiently prepared enough for CS 61A?
Well, you very well might be. One of the things that Professor De Niro recommends is that you actually do some of the first assignments at 61A. Like I believe they're public over the summer. So he really recommends you know, do like the first 3 or 4 assignments. So the concepts will probably stay the same in the fall, but the actual assignments will change. So that's a really good way to tell if you're ready. And then when, you know, the semester starts, you can always reach out to like the course staff. It's fairly, you know, students do sometimes decide they start 61A and then they think, well, maybe I should actually have taken CS10 and, you know, and so, you know, you can also talk to course staff when the semester starts. But I really recommend just trying out some of the assignments because it does take off really quickly in the fall.
Thank you, Carol. That's all the questions. I'm going to pass it back to you to conclude the session. Thank you, Lydia, Javier,
Excuse
Carol.
me, I have one question if we still have time.
Yes, we have 4 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so on Cal Central, we have the schedule planner launch and the shopping cart. Is that where we enroll in classes on the 17th of July? Like how is that process going to work?
You know, that's a great question. Is anyone familiar with how it looks and how it works on the student side when it comes to this?
Yeah,
hi, Chris.
Yep.
Hi
Go
there.
ahead.
I'm happy to answer. The shopping cart is integrated with your actual, you don't see the actual enrollment center now because you're in that section of the enrollment center because your window is not open. So when your window opens, you're going to see some new content there, and that is where you're going to go to enroll. If you have already loaded your shopping cart, when it comes to your enrollment window, you'll log into Cal Central. It will pop up the new thing. You're like, oh, this is how we do this. And then you will follow through and you'll have an option to try and enroll your whole shopping cart. If not everything is available because the discussion section filled up and so it couldn't enroll you in the class, then you'll have to go back and forth and do a little navigation. But having your shopping cart loaded is super helpful. And I'm going to search up the central, I think it's a central evaluation. I'm not sure. There's a website, might be the registrar's office, that has some like how-to guides to guide you through that. And I will look up that website and I'll drop it in the chat real quick for you.
Okay,
It'll be in the
sounds good.
same location, but it's different.
Okay, so I have one more follow-up if that's fine. So like let's just say I'm taking a course and I get waitlisted from it. So like I have 4 courses and I'm waitlisted from one of them. In that case, do I just add another one? Like do I enroll in 5 courses? Like what happens if I'm waitlisted? Like how does that process work?
So, I mean, if you're waitlisted in a class, it counts the units towards your 20.5. I think it's 17.5 in phase 2, right? So it counts waitlisted units. It's assuming that you're eventually going to get off the waitlist, which is not true. You do not always get off the waitlist. It will vary quite a bit. So yeah, if you can add a backup class because you're on the waitlist and you just want to make sure, you can go ahead and do that. Just make sure it does not have a schedule conflict with the thing you're waitlisted for, because You could be enrolled in a class and waitlisted for a class with a schedule conflict, and then you will never get enrolled from the wait list. It will be like, oh no, there's a schedule conflict, and it will keep jumping
Mhm.
over you. So just
Okay,
make sure that
perfect.
you're paying attention to that.
And then just to confirm, phase 1 and 2 for incoming freshmen is on July 17th, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Some
you.
people, it might be actually because of the sheer number of first year students, it might also be on the 18th. If yours says the 18th, don't panic.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris, Michelle, Lydia, Carol. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. Later today or sometime this week, we're gonna send the this presentation to you, and the recording is gonna be available next week. Once again, thank you. If you have any further questions, you're gonna have access to our email. You can do a Google search to find our department, and have a good rest of your morning and afternoon or night, depending on where you are right now. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your summer. So that you're well rested when you start in the fall semester. Okay, having said that, have a good one and good luck with everything.